Well, hello everybody and welcome to Schliersee in Germany. I'm Ian Sweet and this is a double-header of multi-sport. We're starting with triathlon, the European Triathlon Cup, and then we're having a duathlon in the European Duathlon Cup in Bad Woltersdorf in Austria. But this is the European Cup for triathlon. It's round 7. We're in Germany, some 50 kilometers south of Munich. And we're at a dark and damp Schliersee. For once, the water temperature, well, that's higher than the air temperature. 20 degrees water temperature, air temperature 19 degrees. Drizzly rain, not great conditions for the bike section, but nice for the swim and the run. I think it's going to be a bit slick on the bike, but that won't worry these women competitors at the moment. This is the women's section to start with. A few minutes later, the men will get underway. And leading the multicolored cap is Kathleen Schmidt from Belgium. Also to look out for, we just saw a quick glimpse of the yellow cap. That's Jody Pertzel. Light blue is Natasha Badman. Orange cap is Ute Schaefer from Germany. She did well in this race last year, but it's still Schmidt in the multicolored cap. And for those of you who followed triathlon over the last few years, you'll know that Schmidt, along with Germany's Ursel Muckel, are the only two women to come out of the water first when we've had an equal start with men and women. She, in this case, Schmidt beat Britain's Olympic swimmer Robin Brew in the Volcano Triathlon a few years ago in Lanzarote. So this is Schmidt, the Belgian. She's had a pretty good year, been very consistent, always out of the water first or second in these European races. Her best position was 5th at Giel in the opening race. She actually finished second in the Europeans at Hanover, but of course that was won by Karen Smyers of America, and McKeely Jones was second, and I think Sabine Westhoff was also in contention. But Smet was up there, got the points. Great swimmer. Used to be a breaststroker in her swimming days, and she actually swam the 100 meters breaststroke. But of course, like all swimmers, she trains over the long distance, and this is certainly not a problem for her. The white cap we just saw a glimpse of is Brigitte Scheithauer of Germany. But Schmidt's first out of the water. She's out in just a fraction over 19 minutes and 8 seconds. And I suspect we've got a little bit to wait for the chase back. They're just about a minute behind them. Sylvia Peppels from Holland is second out. In the white cap, that is Brigitte Scheithauer, pulling herself up the ramp. So this is Scheithauer now. A bit of a run up to the transition area. Black is Jasmin Hamel, the Austrian champion. We've also got Franziska Rüsli there. That's in the orange cap. Yellow is Pertzel. Blue is Franziska Rüsli. Orange, sorry, is Ute Schaefer from Germany. She was out in 21:58. So what? 2 minutes adrift of Schmidt. This is Jasmin Hamel of Austria, having a quick change. And of course, the problem is it's a little cooler out here, and it's a bit of a problem for them. They have problems getting on their shoes. Helmet's not so much of a problem, although that strap and catch can be a little tricky. There's Natasha Badman just out beside Schaefer. So the main contenders now are out of the water. Badman is recognized as a poorer swimmer compared with her biking and running. Schaefer should have been a bit faster, I think, in the water. Perhaps the cold's got to her. So let's have a look at the standings for the women. There we are, Schmidt, just over 19 minutes, and Jasmin Hamel, 1 minute and 14 seconds adrift. So that's the opening 1,500 meter swim. Now they're out on the bike for 40 kilometers, 25 miles. And but it's time for the men to start. So that's pretty good timing. The women are out of the way onto the bike, and it'll be interesting to see if the women are caught during the later stages of the final 10-kilometer run. Beautiful area. It's a shame the sun isn't out, isn't it? This is actually the home of a famous Olympian, Marcus Wasmeier. The skier lives here, and hopefully we'll get a word with him later on in the program, and he'll give us his thoughts, I'm sure, on the triathlon. They've had this race a couple of years, and the first year it's had European status, but I think, certainly from my perspective, it's pretty well organized. It's a nice course for both swimming, biking and running, and I suspect he's got a good future on this European Cup series. Round 7 started in Belgium in Giel, went into Holland and Hanover. Sorry, Holland and Zundert. Then we went into Germany, Hanover, and we've been into Hungary, France, but at the moment we're at Schliersee in Germany. Well, not too surprising. One of the early leaders is the Russian Alexander Merzloff. Simon Knowles of Australia is also up there. He's in the purple cap. Merzloff has got the white cap, and the good German swimmer, the Deutsches Bundesliga 2 swimmer Roland Knoll. He's also got a white cap, so it's a little confusing, but it's leading is Merzloff. There he is. Merzloff, and Knoll is right behind him. The colour hats are on the standings before the event. The blue cap, I think that was Dennis Loser, current leader of the European rankings. Green cap, that looks like Ralf Eggert from Germany. Having a pretty good year is Eggert. He's finished third in both the ETU or in the European Championships in Zombate, which also counts on this European Cup. It counts for cup points. That's a double score being European Championships. I've never been sure whether European Championships or any championship should be part of a World Series, but both the European Triathlon Union and indeed the International Triathlon Union have their World Championships and European Championships respectively as part of the Cups. So it's still Merzloff, Knoll behind him, and the purple is the Australian Simon Knowles. I think Knowles has been racing for a German club over here and part of the Bundesliga. The red is Marcus Keller from Switzerland. He's number 8 on the cap. The boyfriend of Francesca Rusli, who is racing in the women's division. This is Knowles, the Australian. First time we've seen him on the European Cup, so they're at about the 1,000-meter point now. It's actually a triangular course. They swim 3 500-meter legs, and this is the second turn at 1,000 meters. But it's still Merzloff, the man from St. Petersburg, that races for the Moscow club, the Sporting Club of Moscow. I suppose that's the equivalent of the Sporting Club of France, which is based in Paris. They haven't got so much money though, because that's one of the richest clubs in the world, the Sporting Club of France. So Merzloff's first out of the water. Looks like he's out in just a bit over 17 minutes and 20 seconds. Knowles is right behind him. This is Dennis Loos going through the picture, 17:27, 17 minutes 27 seconds for Loos. So he's in contention, he's where he wants to be. So let's have a quick look at the rankings. There we are. Thomas Kocher came out with Knoll. We missed those two, but Dennis Loos was there. And Fedor Filipov, another Russian, another member of that great club with Merzloff, is also in contention. You see, there's not a lot in them, is there? Just 11 seconds or so between the top 5 or 6 athletes. This is Loos just going through. This is Thomas Kocher from the Czech Republic. See, the road surfaces are a little slippery, and this is a very tough bike course. There's some big climbs, quite hairy descents, but this is the women's race. It's still Kathleen Schmidt in contention. She's leading at, we're at about the 7-kilometer point. This is one of the descents, and you can see she's been very, very careful during the bends. That's not rain, that's water from our wheel, by the way, from the motorbike. Who's filming this at the moment. What a good job he's doing. This is Katja Parkkirin from Finland. It's good to see the Finnish athletes have come down to the European Cup. They haven't really supported them too well in the past, but they certainly are at the moment. Rusli on the left of the picture, passing Jasmin Hamel from Austria. There's Rusli, there's Hamel. You can see they are being very, very careful. Like Zikant, Marike Zikant from Holland, and Parkkirin, the Finnish athlete now. They're down in what, 6th and 7th positions respectively. There's Badman, Natasha Badman, and Alten Reiter. One of the German athletes, Ute Schäfer. Of course, Natasha Badman, she won that great race in Powerman, the Powerman Zofingen earlier this year, and she is the defending world champion for duathlon, and you can see that event next week on Eurosport. Next Tuesday are the ITU Duathlon Championships from World Championships from Ferrara in Italy. This is Jodie Petzel just going through, number 109. She's down in 11th position. But it looks as though Brigitte Scheitar has taken the lead from Kathleen Schmidt. She took the lead at about, well, we understand about 8 or 9 kilometers. Having a bit of a problem there. She nearly lost it, and that would have been disaster for Scheitar. I can never understand these women, why they don't dress themselves a little better in these conditions, because it's pretty cold. The chill factor is fairly high. That's Sylvia Peppels from Holland just going through. There's Badman. She's starting to make a move through the field, as we would expect. This is Ziekant with... okay, super. You can just see Schaefer in the back of the picture, Ute Schaefer. She'll be trying to make a move on this bike section because she is one of the better bikers in the sport, along with Natasha Badman. So this is Schaefer, and she's one of the few who's really dressed for the conditions, and I don't blame her. This is one of the big climbs. We've got another climb after this. But Schaefer is down in, what, 9th position at the moment. But Scheitar, her fellow team member, is still leading. And I mentioned Marcus
Es ist bloß schade für die Sportler selber.
Well, we caught
also
up
beim
with
Schwimmen
him
selber wird es ja egal sein, aber beim Radfahren, da ist halt natürlich gefährlich, wenn es so nass ist und rutschig ist. Und für die Zuschauer natürlich, es wäre normal eine ganz tolle Veranstaltung, weil man eben schön mitfahren kann, auch jede Strecke eigentlich zu begutachten, genauso wie das Radfahren dann die letzte Strecke an Spitzing rauf.
Because the
ist schon
athletes
toll
can watch on most of the course, especially on the last uphill to the Spitzingsee. So Barrel's on a bit of a move with Peter Adler. They're leading at 20 kilometers. That's Adler up front. And, well, we'll go for our first break. Welcome back to Eurosport's double-header of triathlon and duathlon. And with the men's division at the moment, this is Peter Adler, the Swiss athlete who is leading. Adler's been around a while. Certainly last year he had a good race in the professional championships in Mountain Man in Austria, where he finished 7th, and also that year finished 27th in the World Long Distance Championships, the ITU World Long Distance Championships down in Nice. But Rob Barrel, what more can you say about him? He's won just about everything in the sport. Won the world title actually in 1994 in Nice. That's the only world title he's won. I think he's won 9 European titles. One of the great competitors of Europe. And it looks as though they're being joined, or they have been joined, by Jimmy Riccitello, the American with Italian ancestry, lives in Tucson, Arizona. He's over here racing on the ITGP, raced in Koblenz and races in Longleat. Eurosport will be showing the ITGP starting, I think, on November the 17th. 6 consecutive weeks, 6 straight races, so that should be good fun. And I can tell you, it is really exciting, made-for-television racing. But it's Adler, Riccitello, and Robbie Barrel who are leading in Schliersee on this beautiful bike course. It's a shame the weather's not better. The last climb up the Spitzingsee, well, that's 4 kilometers of climb, and it's 14% in gradient, so that is very, very steep. There's Ralf Egert going through. Looks like Schomburg has just gone through the picture, but Adler is on that big climb now, and you can just see, looks like Burrell in the background, or it might be Eric van der Linden, who we understand is making a bit of a move, but certainly Peter Adler here, the Swiss athlete, is showing them how to do it. Yeah, there is van der Linden on the left of the picture with Riccitello. Well, look at the difference. Riccitello, he's a pro biker, and van der Linden's gone by him like he's standing still. See if Riccitello can respond. Bobby Barrow is now back in 4th position, looking a little composed, as Adler now comes back towards the end of the second discipline, the 40-kilometer bike ride, the 25 kilometers. He's back in the Schliersee, right by the lake, you can see. So he's down into the changing tent. Get out of the way, give them a bit of a chance of putting on dry shoes, if nothing else. And now it's just 10 kilometers to finish. Race time at the moment for Adler is 1 hour, 37 minutes and 30 seconds. This is van der Linden and Riccitello. There's something like 25 seconds or so behind Adler. Bobby Barrel's in there as well. But Barrel's right through. You've been wondering why he's through so quickly. Well, that's because he was wearing the duathlon pedals. We've seen him 2 or 3 times this year wearing the duathlon pedals, which means he can use his running shoes on the bike and the run. He obviously thinks it's not going to be too fast. That was Rolf Eggert going into the bike park with Thomas Kocher from the Czech Republic. So there we are. You can see Adler's got, well, nearly 30 seconds over the others. Meanwhile, Brigitte Scheitar, she's still leading the women's division. And the Swiss athlete, Francesca Rusli, has now moved through into 2nd position. This is Scheitar. We always know her with her multicolored bike this year. Quite a dazzler, isn't it? Even in these dull conditions, it stands out. Well, this is Ute Schaefer. She's, we understand, in 4th position. But now we're on the Spitzensee with our leader. This is Brigitte Scheitar. Oh, she must be feeling the cold. Look at that. That does look miserable, doesn't it? She's going to have problems. Badman now is moving through, though. She's now up into 2nd position. She was in 3rd position coming at the bottom of the climb, so she's gone past Rusli. Schaefer's been blown out the back end. This is Rusli in 3rd position as Scheitar now comes back off the Spitzensee. She's back into Schliersee. She's back into the transition leading, and she's got nearly 2 minutes over Natasha Badman. 1 hour, 38 minutes and 23 seconds is her race time. So that's a good performance by Scheitar. She hasn't won one of the cup races this year. Could this be her first victory? Certainly Natasha Badman will be having something to say about it because she is a very quick, she's very snell underfoot, one of the quicker runners and bikers in the sport. So Badman, the Powerman champion, the world duathlon champion. First Swiss athlete to win a medal at any major championships when she won one in Nova Mesta, 3 years ago for the half Ironman distance, the middle distance championships of Europe, which now no longer exist. We just have short distance championships and long distance. So Badman's out 2nd. This is Rusli's coming through, 1 hour, 40 minutes and 14 seconds. So she, Badman was 1.5 minutes behind. Scheitar, Rusli is in 3rd. Looks like, oh, there's the boyfriend in as well. So Marcus Keller, they're not going to stop for a chat, are they? She's straight out of it. She's got a reload, high concentrated reload pack she's taking for that final run. Looks like Dimitri Gag has just gone through there. So these are the standings for the women, and you can see Scheitar has built up quite a substantial lead during the 40-kilometer bike section, nearly 2 minutes. Is that enough, though? This is an extremely hard bike course. Many very steep upgrades, 70% in places, but Adler's sticking to his business. He's still leading. Bobby Barrel looks like he's in 2nd position at the moment, but he's being threatened by Riccitello and van der Linden. Van der Linden, good pedigree on running, new to the sport this year. Haven't really seen much of him, but in the ETU Cup he was 3rd in Giel and finished 9th in the European Championships. Now you can see how tough this run course is. Look at this, he really having to pump those arms just to keep going. Very, very steep, 17% this gradient. And it's okay for our cameraman, he's whipped up there on the bike, but these boys and girls, of course, later have to run up. That's Riccitello. So van der Linden now has moved past Perelt, taken to the podium position. He's in 3rd position, and now he's got Riccitello in his sights, and you can see 2nd, 3rd and 4th here. But Adler, he's coming towards the top of the climb. He looks across, and what can he see? He can see certainly the others coming up the other way, and hopefully we can. There we go. So Riccitello, he's also got company. Eric van der Linden, the 23-year-old Dutchman from Schliersee, which is up in the north of Holland, is now catching him. Riccitello has struggled up the hill. The American. It's good to see some Americans racing on the European Cup, and I think as this cup grows in stature, we're going to get more and more of them because this is the place to be. Europe is the place to be for triathlon and maybe duathlon as well, with the European Cup for duathlon, which is coming up next in Bad Woltersdorf. So there we are. Van der Linden now has really made the move. He's gone past Riccitello and he's up with Peter Adler, the Swiss, who's been leading for some considerable time, and it's not all that far to the finish. Now it gets pretty rough underfoot. They've been on this mountain trail for a while, and they hit the fields in a minute, as you'll see. So van der Linden, we have a new leader. It's the Dutchman in his 1st year. He's had two third places. He was 3rd in Quimper, 3rd in Giel. Brigitte Scheitar She's still leading for the women, but she's also under pressure. She's under pressure from Natasha Badman. We might be able to see her in a minute, but you can see, well, look at the difference in cadence. Natasha Badman is literally springing along here. This is Schliersee down in 3rd position. Just coming towards the bottom of the big climb which Schleitar is on. And you can see she's nearly been gone to ground to a standstill. That's Peter Selber, her better half. I wondered if they were married. I did ask Brigitte, and she said, well, nearly. Well, hopefully we'll be giving them congratulations in the near future. But at the moment, she really is struggling, isn't it? Really finding it difficult to put one foot in front of the other. Not like Badman. Look at Badman. She's still smiling. We call her the ever-smiling Natasha Badman, the 29-year-old Swiss athlete. But this is Van der Linden now coming up towards the end, and he's going to have his first victory on the European Cup. What a fine performance by Van der Linden. 2 hours, 3 minutes and 49 seconds. He recorded. That's a very good time under these conditions, and although it's over 2 hours, that really does dictate the nature of the course, and I think you'll appreciate it was pretty tough. Peter Adler, he led for so long, has to be satisfied with 2nd position, 2 hours, 4 minutes and 8 seconds, and Rolf Eggert has a storming run past Riccitello to take 3rd position for Germany. Well, that's not a bad performance by Eggert. 2 hours, 4 minutes and 22 seconds. Well, those are the standings of the men. Bobby Barrel, he moved down into 5th position, and from the Czech Republic, Jan Rahula. He said, I was very surprised to win this race today. He hasn't really trained very hard in the last couple of weeks, and he hadn't competed in any race for those 2 weeks. He said he really wanted to show some good form in this competition, and well, he did. Certainly did. Schleitar has been passed by Badman. Badman now coming into the closing stretch. Yes, isn't she pleased? She really does give us some great pictures during this event, because she really does enjoy it. She says she does this for fun, and when it's not fun, she's going to stop. So there we are. Badman comes home a victor. 2 hours, 21 minutes and 31 seconds, and we can just see Schleitar coming up the stretch. She's going to maintain that 2nd position. But that's Badman from Vince now in Switzerland. This is, she's pretty happy, isn't she? She must be a little disappointed that she didn't hold on to that victory, but 2nd place, if you can't win, that's the next best place to be. 2 hours, 22 minutes and 11 seconds for Brigitte Schleitar. And looks like Jasmine Hamel has gone past Schliersee to take 3rd position. Here she is, the Austrian champion, coming through to take 3rd position in 2 hours, 25 minutes and 39 seconds. Good performance, but it's Badman, Schleitar and Hamel. So there we are. Schliersee finished 4th. Ute Schaefer must be a little disappointed from that, but she got a bit of a virus after that dreadful race in the Bundesliga when it was wet and cold, just like today actually. So what did Natasha Badman say? She said, well, everything went pretty well. My bike was good. I felt like singing all the time. I had some problems with my gears and I had to brake a few times because of the traffic. But everything went pretty well. And when I came onto the running course, I really did enjoy the whole thing. I almost felt like flying here in the mountains, she said. That really is. Yeah, flying in the mountains. Well, the rankings after Schliersee, that should be 515 by Arndt Kemp, by the way, in Luxembourg. So Seuss is still leading, didn't race here. Blanco is in 3rd position and Schmidt down in 4th. And for the men, well, it's Dennis Lusser leading substantially, with Barrel and Kocher in 3rd position. Van der Linden moves into 4th. Well, we'll go for a short break, then come back for the Duathlon European Cup at Bad Waltersdorf.